Hello. Hoi hoi. I don't have anything to start with today for anything. I mean, I guess that Maya Nova account was retweeting Holocaust denial stuff, and then when confronted with that, refused to answer the question how many Jews died in the Holocaust for a few hours before they finally answered, lots of Jews and other people died. And I was like, wow, oh, okay. Puck does hate the rain. That's why I did not go on a walk yesterday. Because it rained all day. There was like one small window where I might have been able to take him, and he. Nah. Puck does hate the rain, though. He ain't about that life. Are Twitch ads being a bitch? It's rough. We haven't started yet. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Don't panic. Ooh, that's exciting. Well, let me know. We should go to the pub down the road from the plaza that has the shoppers and grocery store and the things in it, so people don't know exactly where I'm talking about. I almost moved yesterday. I almost got a whole new apartment. So a family friend, is moving away and was looking to have somebody like take over their lease for them. And the timing just didn't work out for me, unfortunately. Had it been like a couple of months from now, that would have been cool, but okay. 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 I have 3 streams to do today, besides the one that I'm doing. I got this one, I got one later, and then I got one tonight, and then I'll be there. I'm gonna be late, though. I have a very busy day. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, man. Alright, are your ads all caught up? Is everybody good on their ads? I was actually worried that the internet was spiking just before I started because the video that I got pulled up didn't want to load. Oh, boy. Alright, everybody's good on ads? Alright, so the question we're asking today is where's your ukulele? Ring, ring, ring. Wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. This is hello, honest red. Welcome. It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those. Um, don't worry, it's not gonna take me as long to get through this one as I think the last one was. So this stream probably won't be as long as yesterday's because I have so much other stuff to do. But I still wanted to come, and I saw this yesterday, and I was like, oh boy, oh boy. So out of this 25-minute 34-second video, where on this bar, if at all, do you think the words I'm sorry show up? Anywhere? Nowhere? You guys got guesses? Give me your best guess. In this, and for anybody who doesn't know, mea culpa is basically like a Latin for like finding fault in. Where do chemtrails? Oh, yeah, nowhere, not at all. Where do chemtrails come in this video? That no, there's no chemtrails in this video. I already watched the whole thing. I watched the whole thing yesterday with Manya because I had it sent to me by actually like couple people. It was sent to me more than once. All right, let's dive into this. This is titled Maya Culpa to Miss S. Good start with not being able to say the person whom you're apologizing to's name. That's a good start. Apologies to Miss S about my own dumb confirmation bias and loose tongue. As of right now, I will not be delving in anti-KJ group dramas or participating in lynch mob behaviors. As of right now, oh, so I guess there's kind of an admission here that they engaged in lynch mob behaviors, and there have been lynch mob behaviors going on around this entire situation. But oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. 1 week this is in 1 week this is going down, and I am returning to books, art, history, and recovery from high demand religious organizations. My true jam. Why would you? What are you doing? No, this comment wasn't there when I watched this. What? All right, we'll talk about that after. Let's watch the video first. We'll look at the comment section afterward. Oh boy. All right. First words out of her mouth. I'm sorry. First words. Hey! You guys couldn't hear that. Sorry, my bad. Hold on. I forgot to turn that on. There you go. Okay. All right.
Okay, you guys, I am sorry, but I have to be very unpleasant today.
Well, technically said I'm sorry in the first 6 seconds. Not to the person, but to their audience for being unpleasant. Why would an apology video be unpleasant? But I mean, I guess it could be uncomfortable, but like it's not really known to be like you need to be mean in apology videos. Doesn't count? I agree. I don't think that counts. All right. Let's keep going.
Have to issue an apology to someone and retract something that I had been saying previously. Why? Because I went back and reread through the transcripts of what I was looking at that I based my dislike of them on. And I allowed myself to be swept up by the anti KJ crowd. Now, I'm not saying anything positive about Katie Joy. There's nothing to do with her. And again, she's persona non grata here, so we're not talking.
Why are they all so scared about saying something positive about Katie Joy? Like, I get that they don't like her, and I get that her coverage is generally viewed as inappropriate or poorly done. But why are you so scared about like saying one nice thing about the lady? Like, you think that if you have to work so hard, maybe that's not really normal. But whatever. I don't just notice that.
About her at all in this. I want to talk about something else entirely. If you know me, great. If you don't know me, I'm Suzanne Tacovara. I used to write a column called No Longer Quivering for a place called Pathos. Why is that important? Because I'm going to talk about that in a minute. It was about fundamentalism, evangelicalism, the stranger, more out there versions of faith, where I used to tread for some long years, that I'm now in recovery like everybody else who's part of that world.
Why am I getting ads? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, apology videos are usually not monetized for the sake of it kind of looking bad. I'm not gonna pick on it. I'm just assuming that's something that was not considered. But putting at apparently I need a new mattress because the YouTube thinks I need a new mattress because I've been getting that ad all over the place. I don't know. Usually apology videos are not monetized, but I digress. YouTube can put ads wherever they want if you have it set to automatic, but you can move them around later. I hope we get some cute puppies and fake tears. All the influencer tropes. Give it to us. Get the bingo card out, guys.
Let me just preface with what I'm about to say by saying that I'm allergic to trauma dumping. When somebody shows up and they want to trauma dump about their experience, I will either put up my I'll either put up my little thingy that says, "Thank you for contacting me. I'm super busy, blah, blah, blah. Look at this, look at that, look at that."
What is trauma dumping? I feel like if you're gonna have a conversation about this, then you need to define it. Because especially since this is one of the things that's gonna get into about like what she did wrong was whatever was related to trauma dumping, then you should probably, like, if you're gonna say you're allergic to something, then you should probably define it. Should that be part of the apology video? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe that should be another video, but it if you're gonna throw terms around and admit that you've been very loose about your terminology and like what's been going on, I feel like maybe you should define it. So let's keep going.
That, or I will just disappear. I won't say anything back. And there have been a lot of that. For me, that was a huge shift being able to do that because I had been for a long time everybody's favorite trauma dumping grounds. When I stopped writing for NLQ, that ended. Okay. I no longer felt the obligation to listen to people tell me their stories because I was no longer writing about it every day, number one. Number two, I'm not a trained psychologist in any way, shape, or form.
So I will note that it does make sense to me that if you are writing articles daily about people's lives and like the bad things that they've been through, that's gonna wear on a person. I think we can all agree with that. The fuck does that have to do with the apology though? Because this is your trauma now. This is what you've been through. I think you're trying to give me context, but you're not giving me context about what you're apologizing for. You're giving me context for excuses. It's always good to start your apologies off with excuses. Yeah, why is she trauma dumping on us? This is what I mean. You should define trauma dumping. Do you guys want me to pull up the definition? I'm pull up the definition of trauma dumping. Trauma dumping. Trauma dumping. According to Charlie Health, trauma dumping is when someone shares their traumatic experience all at once with someone else. And it is the unfiltered sharing of strong emotions or upsetting experiences without permission from the listener. So she can't be trauma dumping on us because I clicked on the video and I can click off the video, right? I can leave. I can draw that boundary line there. I feel like you might be bait and switching people if you say you're putting out an apology video and then you start making it about you and your bad experiences in the past, but that's not, I wouldn't necessarily call that trauma dumping. I'd call that trauma dumping in like the loosest sense if I was being a sarcastic asshole. And I've never been one of those. On the other hand, if she was receiving these letters or these communications with people to share their stories because she worked in that field, none of those people were trauma dumping on her because she had opened her doors to write about those things and she has to hear the stories to write it. So that's consensual. That's a consensual scenario. Now, if she got overwhelmed by that and needed to close those doors and people didn't listen, yeah, okay, fair. But that's a boundary between her and those people. I don't know what this has to do with the apology. To me, this is out of order. As in, like, apologize. Then tell us what you did. Then apologize. Then tell us what you're gonna do better. And sometimes inside that what you do better, you say, okay, this is what I did wrong. Here's why and how I'm gonna fix it. This is you're prefacing the apology with a lot of "oh poor me," which is not a good look from a PR standpoint. But let's keep going.
The closest I've come to psychology training is when I went through training for Stephen's ministry.
Stephen's ministry doesn't teach you anything about psychology. It's like a culty, like learn how to manipulate people in like a church setting. It's not psychology. It's not even close to psychology. It's pseudo bullshit that's like designed to like it's like a church thing. It's not. I've talked about it like years ago. It is a no bueno. It's one of those no bueno things. I want to put a pin in this "I'm not a psychologist" thing though, because I think that's gonna come up again.
And having
I should do a whole video on Stephen Ministries.
to do with various jobs I've worked in the mental health industry and the healthcare industry. But that does not make me a
You worked in the mental health and the healthcare ministry? Is that what she said? Did she say ministry?
And having to do with various jobs I've worked in the mental health industry and the healthcare industry.
So she worked in the mental health and healthcare industry with a training in Stephen's, what was that? Whatever it's called, Stephen's Ministries. That's not the healthcare industry. That is definitively not the healthcare industry. It's not even close to the healthcare industry. That's like I went and got marriage counseling from the pastor who has no degree and no psychology background whatsoever, but took an online course from like Bozo McClowns. Oh no. That's not the, unless she did something else. But this is very unclear. That's not okay. This is like getting couples therapy from Hard Men podcast. You know what I mean? Like it's not like that's not no. I reject.
But that does not make me a licensed social worker, clinical social worker, or a psychologist. It doesn't make me that kind of.
Now I'm just wondering what your credentials are to say you worked in the mental health and healthcare industry. What does that mean to you then? I don't know what that means. You're not a doctor, you're not a psychologist, you're not a social worker, you're not licensed in any way. You're not a nurse. What did you do? Because now why are you bringing this up?
Anything. So, and even if I had held license, and I have held some licensures in the past, retiring ends that. And after I quit writing, I retired. Okay. So there you go. That's why I don't put up with trauma dumpers. I have enormous sympathy for when people are processing their journeys out, their situations, but I am not their unpaid shrink.
Yeah, I have a certification of authentication for couples counseling and sociology from Tate University. Yeah, it's like it's the same with like what is Kent Hovind's degree? It's that thing.
I even had two close friends I had to cut back my interactions with because 3/4 of the time I was spending more time dealing with their emotional problems than anything else.
Yes, poor you. You
And
have
it
to set
started to
boundaries with
be a
your friends.
one-way relationship that didn't benefit me at all. I was just ending up exhausted, emotionally exhausted after talking to these people. Some put a
Uh-huh.
pretty hard barrier in place between me and trauma dumpers. Enter Miss S,
Charla? Are you talking about Charla?
who, if I recall correctly, was trying to get my attention about her story of leaving the IBLP.
Okay, so I'm gonna put a sting in this one real quick. A really quick little drop down. What do you mean if you recall correctly? Didn't you just say that you were reviewing transcripts of your interactions with this person? You know you could put it in front of you. You know this is a video, it's not a live stream. Even if you don't want to like share the DMs, fine. I'm not telling you have to share the DMs, but I feel like this ought not be a if I remember correctly type thing. This should be I looked at and reread those things and then I I thought this and therefore did this, but that is not what happened. I'm sorry I misrepresented what you had said. Like that it should why why are we at if
Are
I
you sick of having
recall
issues with your webinar?
I would rather watch this ad. I and you can have videos that you're talking about your personal struggles, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with Suzanne here having personal struggles that she wants to talk about, but they shouldn't be at the beginning of your apology video. You don't start an apology with "oh woe poor me" and look at how hard my life is and how hard everything is for me. The point of an apology is the other person. It's about them and you acknowledging what you did wrong to them, not, oh my god, my life is so hard. Right? That's not how apologies work. I apologize. I'm so sorry. See, this is how you do it. This is how you do an apology. I am so sorry. I should not have questioned your degree in business and hustling from Trump University. I should not have questioned that. That was wrong of me. That you paid good money for that degree. I'm sure it holds some value to you, and I'm sorry for questioning that. Ding. uh.
And since all of this had happened to me and had been wrecking my own mental health, like I said, if somebody tried to contact me and I could tell it was about to go sideways into trauma dumping, get that little prepackaged paragraph I would put up, or else I wouldn't respond.
So you had a barrier there, and you had a pre-set up thing because this is the way you handled it from back in the day, and you... Wait, hold on, let me just... You could tell it was going to go into sideways trauma dumping, so you put a wall there to prevent you from having to deal with that. Okay.
Get that little prepackaged paragraph I would put up, or else I wouldn't respond. And I believe, if I recall correctly, this person tried to contact me through those ways, and I ignored Miss S. I ignored her completely. I didn't ignore her because I didn't care about her story. I ignored her because I did not have the mental energy or the professional capacity to help anybody else with their trauma. Just my
So here's the... Oh, sorry, Ellen.
own trauma. My
Okay, so here's the thing. It's her own trauma. Here's the thing. I don't believe you. I don't, and the reason I don't believe you so far, like we're 5 minutes into this, the reason why I don't believe you is this is a lot of preface. You said you were just reviewing the transcripts, then you went into I recall, and then you got the feeling that, and that that Charla was going to tell her story. one thing that has definitively been consistent with Charla throughout this is that she never was interested in sharing her story about the IBLP. That is one thing that has been consistent with Charla the entire time, with her contact with everybody, from everything that I've seen, including stuff that I've seen in court, including stuff that I have seen outside of court, from like Veda sharing DMs and Aaron talking about whatever the fuck she's talking about. Like there's nothing anywhere that has ever shown that this claim that Charla wanted to put her story out is true in any capacity. Nowhere. Nothing. And so to go from, I was recently reading the transcript, so if I recall, I thought she was going to trauma dump because she came to me about telling her story. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe that's what happened. And then I guess this is where we are, because like, I mean, I understand not showing the DMs necessarily, right? I'm not demanding that needs to be the case, but what I'm saying is you're contradicting yourself in both, if you recall, and you recently reviewed. You could have them in front of you, you've chosen not to. You could have done another take, and you've chosen not to. You could have edited this, you've chosen not to. These are all things that are choices you've made. You chose not to read out or give a briefing of what was actually said, or like a synopsis. You've chosen not to do those things. And you haven't said sorry yet. We're 5 minutes in. And you're still saying that she was going to trauma dump on you, that she was trying to get something from you. She was trying to talk about her story, which is her trauma, not yours, and you couldn't deal with that. But you're describing this as if these are the things that happened, not the things that you interpreted and was wrong about. Because of your framing. So are you saying this is just what you thought? Or are you saying that this is what happened? Because these lines are getting blurred here. Apologies need to be direct.
My own story. This is why I've never tried to reach out to anybody who was on the Bill Gothard expose, Shiny Happy People, even though I had a couple people that said, you can ask me about my story, that had reached out, not to me, but people adjacent to me. No. Yeah, I wish you well with your story, do your thing. But I can't be involved. I've just got too much of my life going on, as most of you know. Since early November, we've been dealing with a pretty devastating cancer diagnosis in the aftermath of some pretty invasive surgery, and we're still dealing with the aftermath of that. I'm having still to change beddings and bandages and do stuff that I had no intention of ever doing when I decided to get married. But you live, you learn, you do these things.
You dump your trauma. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? A lot of the shit that went on with Charla and a lot of accusations happened before November, by the way. They started mostly in July, August. Right? July, August, October. Been going on since July. And your involvement goes back to July. So, what do you mean? The fuck does this have to do with anything? It's yeah, life sucks. You're going through some shit. That's rough. Sorry you're going through that shit. Cancer sucks. Fuck cancer. The fuck does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with what you did or did not do to this individual, who you're not naming? And yeah, what happened to in sickness and in health? Yeah, Sarah's right. You don't expect to take care of your significant other in sickness and in health. Isn't that a whole thing in marriage? I thought that was like a thing. I I don't understand. I don't understand what this has to do with what you did to that other person. Or why this would matter to that other person. This is all like trauma guilt trippy shit. If you want to make a video about how hard your life is and the stuff that you're going through, make a video about that. Why is it shoved into your apology video?
Okay. So everybody in their trauma dumping. So basically, I got to where I was allergic to this stuff. If you came around me and I got any whiff that I thought that you might possibly trauma dump, I would just cut you off because I don't have the capacity to deal with that.
Okay.
When Miss S came around and
Nobody cared that you didn't talk to somebody. That wasn't really the issue.
tried to contact me, I believe I just did not say anything. I just was like, nope. And when Veda came around, same deal. I talked to her
Veda?
first, but I really realized she was about to trauma dump, and
The fuck does Veda have to do with anything? Why are you naming Veda? She's the only one you've named so far. Okay. Alright. Hold on. I need to process this. The people that came to you while you were working at No Longer Quivering were not trauma dumping on you. They were telling you their story for your job, for your profit. You profited off of their stories. That's how it works. That's what that's about. And here's the other problem. You said that you just cut Charla off and like you didn't say anything, but that's not what happened. In a video description, you called her the creature. You didn't just ignore her. If you had just ignored her, we wouldn't see you in videos with Steve where she's getting called a fucking psychopath all the time. Like that's you're in those videos. You were there. So you didn't have the mental fortitude to hear her out about whatever it was that she did contact you about, because I don't believe you when you say it was her story. But whatever she did contact you about, you didn't have the spoons for. But you had all the spoons in the world for going on live streams. You had all the spoons in the world for calling her the creature. You had all the spoons in the world. What is this? What are you apologizing for, by the way? What are you sorry about? We still haven't gotten to that. What did you do to her? What?
came around and tried to contact me. I believe I just did not say anything. I just was like, nope.
You believe?
And
what do you mean you believe? You said you read the transcripts and then decided to make this video. But then you said that what you recall and you believe. You just reviewed it. You could have reviewed it right before this video. You could have it in front of you right now. What do you mean you just... This is so frustrating and, like, irresponsible. Because when you do this, you're being direct. You're not being direct. You're putting in wiggle room. And, these are excuses. This isn't an apology. This is excuses as to, but I didn't actually... All I did was ignore her. That's not what happened. This is gaslighting. Oh my god. She needs to set up that she's a good person and had her reasons, which is understandable, but has no place in this type of video. Right! If you want to explain your process and your thought process and what's gone on with you and your issues, that's fine. Make a video about that. What does it have to do with your apology?
Veda came around, same deal.
What the fuck does Veda have to do with anything?
I talked to her first, but I really realized she was about to trauma dump, and it was like, girl, man. I stopped talking to her altogether. Anytime somebody comes around me like that, and I'm getting a whiff of that, it's like, no. I have to protect my own mental health first for me. I'm job one.
It would also be a really good idea, if you have this experience, you should define trauma dumping. and tell and like go through and be like, okay, listen, these are red flags that somebody's about to trauma dump on me. This is what I look for, and this is what concerns me in my experience. If you are gonna make that video, it shouldn't be in the apology video. It should be its own video, and it might be a valuable and very interesting video that people could learn a lot from, and that would be great, but not this video.
My husband's job 1, I'm job 2. Or maybe my kids are job 2 and I'm job 3. I don't know, but somewhere along in there, I always tell people, concentrate on the people under your roof first. Because they are the ones that are going to need your help. They're going to need help.
Where was that advice when you were running around on streams? Where's that advice for Renell? Where's that advice for, like, what are you talking about? You have not always said this. You've definitively gone against this whole idea. Is that what you're apologizing for? For circumventing your general principles and getting caught up in a hate mob against somebody, and you said some bad and awful things like X, Y, and Z, and you're really sorry for those things because those things weren't true, and and that was your fault, and you should this is what you're going to do to not get caught up in that kind of stuff. You're distancing yourself from those people. Is that the apology? Is that what you're trying to say? I'm being way too charitable. I should stop.
Dealing with their lives, everyday ins and outs. Modern living is a whole pile of BS, as you and I all well know. Add in one pandemic, add in spiraling inflation, everything else, and you have enough cluster effing going on to keep anybody busy for a long time, without even adding in the silly that is the
She said she was allergic to trauma dumping. That's why she's rubbing her nose so much. There you go. There you go.
online world, and God knows the online world is full of silly.
The one.
Yes, much silly, like Nazis, Holocaust deniers, transphobes.
And so basically, a mutual acquaintance had to ask me if I would talk to Miss S. And I said, okay, for you, I'll talk to.
Who was it? You're naming Charla without naming Charla. You're naming Veda. What? You're not gonna name this person? Who was it? Why aren't you naming them? This is supposed to be an apology. It should be direct. What you're doing is muddying the waters for speculation. All this is gonna do is stir up more shit. Guys, vote in the chat. Who do you think she's talking about? Who do you think was encouraging Suzanne? I read Shu in the chat and just slurred that right together. Who do you think Suzanne's talking about? Who do you think Suzanne's talking about? Who would she go out of her way for like that?
Miss S. And I said, okay, for you, I'll talk to Miss S. And Miss S had not trauma dumped on me, but I was getting those distinct vibes. So, like I said, somebody reaches out to me, and you have no idea how many people I get still to this day reach out to me, a large number. And if you're not a friend or a family member, chances of me responding go down. Even if you're a fake Paul Stanley. I may not always. I now made a graphic I'll have to share that every time they come out, I just slap the graphic up there and they just fade away like a snowball under the Miami.
For an apology video, it's kind of weird the amount of accusations that Charla did this thing as if she's speaking in the present tense. She's like, I got this vibe, I knew that I got this feeling. I'm pretty sure she's trying to tell us a story. Like, she's trying to say, this is how I got to this position. But like I said, this is backwards, and it makes it unclear. Are you saying that she was doing this are you saying that you got this vibe but she hadn't done it yet, as if she was going to? This is the problem here. You can't do apologies this way. You need to be direct. You can explain yourself afterwards, but you need to be direct, and this is what happened, or this is what I did to this person that was inappropriate. I am sorry for doing that thing. This is what led me here. You need to be very clear and direct in apologies. Otherwise, like I said, you open up for miscommunication. You open up for speculation. Like, well, who was Suzanne talking to? Who was the person who initiated the conversation between Suzanne and Charla in the first place, if Suzanne said she thinks maybe that she didn't answer Charla initially? Like, there's so many holes here. This is not how you do this.
Emmy's son. So there you go. And so if I talk to everybody that reaches out to me, I would be online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like a certain
Poor
YouTuber
Suzanne,
we
yes.
know,
Very hard. It's very hard to
doing
draw
that. So I don't do
boundaries.
that. Now there have been some people that I have allowed to trauma dump and to cry on my shoulder that I've been looking at going, really? Really? I think you need to pull yourself together because your problems are self-inflicted. And those people I've sort of pulled away from too. But what has really made me pull away from the entire anti-Katie Joy thing and this whole thing was the Miss S saga. And I realized a couple things recently. Number one, there are people on Reddit pretending to be.
Pulled away when? When did you pull away? Because it wasn't that long ago that you were calling her the creature and were running around on Reddit. So, when did you pull away? When did that happen? What are you talking about? Also, yeah, if she allowed them to do it, then they aren't trauma dumping. It's part of the definition. And see, this is what I mean. You need to define your terms. By the inconsistencies in Suzanne's usage of the term trauma dumping, she's, by her definition, trauma dumping on her audience. And ostensibly, I'm making her trauma dump on you. Right? Like, that's not, you allowed them to talk to you about their problems. Just because you think their problems are self-inflicted, or you think their problems are silly, doesn't mean that they did anything wrong to you. What that makes you is maybe a shitty friend, or, like, two-faced, because, you know, you're to their face being like, oh no, that sucks, that's really hard for you. But what you're really like is, like, you're stupid and you shouldn't be doing this. But you're not actually confronting them and helping them with their issue, you're just coddling them. Instead of actually being a friend. She reminds me a lot of the way Scientologists talk about suppressive persons when she talks about trauma dumpers. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a very, like, she's very much other, like, anybody other, she's othering people who haven't done the thing that she's describing that they've done by her description, right? So whoever she's talking about that she's allowed to trauma dump on her, by definition, did not, in fact, trauma dump on her. And the fact that she's publicly accusing these people, who she's not mentioned, like, named, by the way. The only person she's named is Veda and Charla up to this point. The short answer to this is, you're the problem. And that's probably what apology videos are about, acknowledging that you did the thing, you did the bad thing, you did the wrong. And you're gonna not do that wrong, and you're sorry for that wrong that happened, and you're gonna do what you can to make up for it and make sure it doesn't happen again. It's not complicated. Apologies are not hard on paper. They're hard for your feelings. They're hard for your ego. They're hard to do, but on paper, they're pretty fucking straightforward. We're nearly halfway through the video, and we haven't heard "I'm sorry" yet. Anyway, she's distanced herself from the Katie Joy community, but we don't know when she did that, or in what way she did that. And here's the thing. When you see shit go down, burying your head in the sand and just being like, I'm just not going to be a part of that, is not always the best thing to do. Sometimes it's a good thing to do, but sometimes it makes you complicit. It's also very problematic is if you've already participated and then you just walk away and pretend you didn't.
Number one, there are people on Reddit pretending to be right now, pretending to be Nikki. There's a couple that are pretending to be Miss S, who clearly aren't Miss S or Nikki. And the reason I'm saying this is because someone pretended to be me for a while. And I actually figured out who it was and got onto them. And then I went on to Reddit as Suzanne Salty Seas. That's me. No one else.
Uh-huh. And you participated in what was going on Reddit. I watched you. Do I need to I can pull it up if you guys want. But she was in there participating, being a part of the problem. Is she sorry for that?
And I
Or did she just distance herself from the Katie Joy community because she was the one being like somebody was pretending to be her? So now, then it happened to her directly. So when it happened to her directly, suddenly it wasn't okay. And she didn't do anything to stop it. She just distanced herself. Is that?
I found by going into the anti community and having little conversations was enough to stop that troll from pretending to be me. So, number one, be very,
Lucky
very
you.
cautious. Anybody claiming to be anybody else dragging this crap into Reddit. Usually it's somebody who is a game player that's trying to poke all the participants into making rash and foolish statements. So there's that.
So I guess she agrees with me and Manya when we say you're getting trolled. This entire group is getting trolled, right? Like people don't actually care. They're just trolling the content creators to see how much they can. It's called being a lol cow. Like, there's people trolling you to see how far they can push you because you're the lol cow in this scenario. You're getting trolled. Is that the acknowledgement we're getting here? What the fuck does this have to do with your apology?
Number three, even people that I have criticized, like Mr. Wolf, I criticized once, exactly once. Or example, somebody like, um, oh, what is her name? What name does she go by?
The ancient Egyptians understood that they
Why are there so many ads on your video? And why is this some fucking... Why is this some fucking bullshit? Okay, whatever. I don't care.
The girl in Canada who used to,
Hold on, sorry, I'm gonna go back.
um,
She only criticized Wolf only once. Yeah, that's a weird thing. Like, there's a lot that you only criticized him one time. What did you criticize him about? How did that go? Was it poorly? I imagine it went poorly.
oh, what is her name? What name does she go by? The girl in Canada who used to live stream with Steve,
Nikki?
that had the falling out with him, that I never really felt bad. I thought she was a friend. Well, as friendly as internet can be.
Me? Are you talking about me? I think it might be me. The girl in Canada who used to stream with Steve, who had a falling out with him. Hi, what up? It's me. Ya boy. I've used the same internet name the whole time, Suzanne. Ooh, there was also Shannon Q. Could have been she could be talking about Shannon Q. I don't know if Nikki and Steve are on good terms because Nikki is also in Canada and streamed with Steve. I don't know if they've had a falling out, but Suzanne might know better than I do. So who are you talking about? Anyway.
Until she started running her mouth and doing stuff, and then I was like, oh no. I don't even hold anything against.
That's so vague. That's really funny. That's so vague. I thought I was friends with this person until they started running their mouth. Running their mouth about what? Who are you talking about? What are you talking about? This is supposed to be an apology video. Is it me? I think it might be me. Hi, it's Chesh. It's been Chesh the whole time. Maybe you should have cut this part out. Or maybe you should have looked it up and did another take. I can't believe it. There's only one woman in Canada that's ever worked with somebody named Steve. Sounds like someone in the mob. I was friends with this guy till he ran his mouth and got us in trouble. This is the problem with why would you try and start shit like that? If you want to address me, just address me, Suzanne. It's not the end of the world. Interestingly enough, you're apologizing for the thing that I criticized you about. So I guess we're back to Chesh is right, but fuck her anyway. It is very funny, though. I don't really believe for a second she forgets my name. But throwing little lies and little, like, trying to throw shitballs, even if you're throwing a shitball at Wolf, and Veda, by the way, you're throwing pieces of shit at people in your apology video. You shouldn't be throwing shit at people in your apology video. By the way, maybe tell your friend Steve to stop using the art he never paid from me. Since you're, like, an artist who cares about art a lot. And cares about stolen artwork. Tell Steve to stop using my art that he never paid me for on his YouTube channel. He's been using it for over 3 years now. I think it's over 3 years now. It might be 2.5. Might be being vague for the same reason she's saying Miss S. This is not how you do it. You should not be throwing shit at Black Wolf. You should not be throwing shit at Veda. If you want to make a video where you throw shit at Veda, make a video where you throw shit at Veda. If you want to make a video where you throw shit at Wolf, make a video where you throw shit at Wolf. If you want to make a video where you fucking actually address any of the fucking criticisms I gave to you, great. Do that. It shouldn't be in your apology video. Chesh, we'll talk about you later. Right now we're talking about the mystery woman in Canada who Steve knew. Yeah, who are you talking about? Who could it be? Who could it be? This animal that I did see. Can you help me guess this mystery? Miss S, mystery girl in Canada. This is like a spy movie with so many aliases. Yeah, right? I don't know. I'm so curious. Suzanne, please, in what way did I run my mouth and start causing problems? Because that is literally my job. That is what I do. It's what I've done since my inception. I run my mouth and cause problems for people. I've been doing that the whole time. Nothing I've done has changed. Maybe I've gotten better at it. Hopefully I've gotten better at it. I guess I've been doing it long enough. But, like, when in my internet career have I ever not been running my mouth and causing problems? Name one time. The only time I can think of where I wasn't doing that was when I was doing art exclusively without audio. Like, it was just when I was first started making YouTube videos, at the very, very beginning of my YouTube channel. And that was when I was just learning how to do digital art. And I didn't even make those videos to be out for the world. I made those videos because it forced me to watch my own art process so I could make my art better. And it worked. It was great. It was very helpful. But I really hate that goblin is a goblin. Come on, be specific. If you wanna come at me, none of this veggie shit. Let's go. None of this pussy shit. Are you mad? Are you mad because I said that maybe some of the habits that you picked up from your negative experience in religion have manifested in other places and are still a problem, and you should check yourself before you wreck yourself? To be fair, you make trouble for people who deserve it. Maybe. Hey, listen, those are the details. Details aren't important. I literally cause problems everywhere I go. I've been that way my whole life. My entire life. You can't take me anywhere. I'm that guy in the movie theater. Don't take me anywhere. I'm not allowed to leave. I can't. You take me to the bar, I'm probably gonna start shit somewhere in some capacity, because somebody's gonna say something to me, I'm gonna be like, meh. What was that? Did you say? Excuse me? Although I do enjoy that a lot of times people start shit with me, and then I give them shit back, and then they get mad at me like I'm the one who started it. Suzanne's out here actually talking like I'm the one who fucking started this shit. Yeah. Okay. I pointed out that thing that you're saying that you did wrong, that thing that you're the person you're apologizing to, that person that you also like said that that because of the stuff going on about them, you decided to distance yourself from Katie Joy. Yeah, that was the shit I was calling out. So now it's bad. Now it's just me running my mouth that I was calling out the bad shit you and your friends were doing about this person. Don't you think that kind of undermines your apology a little bit? This is called shooting the messenger, by the way. And again, let's not pretend that Suzanne's not completely full of shit, by the way, when she says she distanced herself from the anti-Katie community because she's been a part of this the whole fucking time. I was actually very nice to her in my initial video. It wasn't until a little bit later when she started making excuses that I was like, oh, hold on, no, that doesn't matter. Stay on topic. Your self-righteous bullshit. So, Suzanne, let me tell you a secret. You need to be direct. Otherwise, you're just pissing into the wind. And people aren't going to think that your apologies are earnest. Chat, we're about halfway through this. Do you believe any of this is earnest? Do you believe that Suzanne is sorry to Charla for anything? I mean, we still don't really know what she did or what she's sorry for yet, and she hasn't said she's sorry. But do you think any of this is earnest so far? Do you believe that she's sorry for anything?
It's her. I don't hold anything against the hogs. I've had a ton of people try to tell me, oh, you got to be mad at everybody all the time. Well, no. Even when
You're literally throwing shitballs in your apology video, then being like, I don't even hold anything against that person. Yes, you do! That's why you're throwing shitballs inside of your apology video. It's okay. You can have an issue with something I said. It's okay if you say I hurt your feelings. It's okay if you have, you don't like the way I said something. You can criticize me. You can have that feeling. That's okay. You're fine. You're not a bad person for being angry or frustrated with what people have said about you online. You can do that. It's alright. It's fine. You don't have to pretend you're not upset. It's okay. You're allowed to be upset. It's just a matter of learning how to navigate being upset. And when you say, oh, I don't hold anything against these people that I just fucking threw a bunch of shit at inside of my apology video, but I was super vague about what those things were. What are you doing? You're starting shit. Don't start shit in an apology video. She brought up another, but who are the hogs? Roadhog and Mrs. Roadhog. They're known for faking a pregnancy for money and doxing people and threatening people with like guns and stuff. So I don't know how much of those things are true. But that's what they're known for. I haven't delved into that thing. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they're known for being racist as well, but I haven't delved into their side of things, so I don't know what the fuck goes on with those people. I can only cover so much bullshit on the internet. I'm sorry. If you want, we can do a video where we go and look at their stuff. I think that's a terrible idea, but we can if you really want to. But the Hogs are another group that are friendly with Steve. Because Steve decided he wanted to be friends with doxers, I guess. No, they go by Roadhog, so the Hogs are like Roadhog and his wife.
I sometimes call people out. I'm not mad at them. And it doesn't
Who
preclude
cares?
me having friendship with them, or at least a friendly facade of a relationship.
A friendly facade of a relationship. So on one hand, you were complaining that you and this mysterious Kansas, or this mysterious Canadian girl you thought were friends or friendly at least, and then they called you out, and now you're not mad at them, but you're talking shit on them. But now that you're bringing up what friendships online mean to you, is it fake? It's a facade. So then what were you bitching about? What are you talking... We're getting off topic. What are you sorry for?
I owe Miss S a huge apology. And I want to use this as an illustration about why you should be very careful who you're hanging around with. And yes, it's Veda related. And I went after Veda because I got really sick and tired of watching her pretend to be an artist and using...
Tell Steve to stop using my art he never paid for. Tell your buddy to stop using my art that he never paid for. Thanks.
Other people's copyrighted work. It's a homage! It's a reimagining, it's a helping, it's whatever. No, girl.
It's really interesting how animated and frustrated that she gets here when none of this emotional energy or value is brought into her apology so far. It's almost like it's bullshit.
That is not what it is. You were promoting those things as your original artwork, which as an artist, that really rubs me the wrong way. So there you go. So I owe Miss S a huge, huge apology. Because when all this went down, I had a very short conversation with her about getting together and talking in the future about her time with the IBLP, even though I did not want to. I could not have any...
I don't believe you. I don't believe that she came to you to ask to tell her story. You're gonna have to actually demonstrate that in some capacity for anybody to believe that. Because like I said, the one thing that Charlotte has been incredibly consistent on is that she did not want to talk about her IBLP experience on streams. Now, if you brought it up to talk to her about it, and she told you no, I would call that a brief conversation. I would call that a very short and brief conversation, but you're framing it as if she was the one who came to you to talk about this, and I don't believe you. I wonder how this mysterious Canadian woman feels about all this. You should interview her sometimes. Maybe she lives near you. Yeah, maybe we can go to Tim Hortons together. We'll go get a donut.
Any more trauma dumping going on me at all. She wanted to talk to me about my experiences with Katie Joy. And I said...
Oh, so it had nothing to do with her story about IBLP. It was Katie Joy related, and she wanted to talk to you about your experience, not her experience. That's you. Didn't you just say you read this recently? That you read it over and figured out what had happened and that what was said wasn't true? For somebody who recently read this over, your memory is all over the place about what actually went down. This is very unclear.
Sure, we picked a day and a time, and that was the extent of the conversation. Now, when I had a later conversation with somebody else in that community after it went nuclear crazy Holocaust with Veda, Miss S, and various and sundry others.
With the number of Nazis you have in your group, you probably shouldn't be comparing things to the Holocaust. That's kind of tone deaf when there's like ostensibly Holocaust deniers in your group. Maybe don't. Maybe that's in really poor taste. Maybe that's kind of a big ol' yikes. Nuclear, sure, I get that. Holocaust? I would love to see how you think what happened is remotely comparative to that. Nuclear, I can understand. Or everybody's kind of exploding. I get that one. I can grant you. But the Holocaust, though, who? There was one person all of you were going after. One individual that you were all trying to publicly fry. The fuck are you talking about? This is actually something I would love an answer on. What in the fuck are you even trying to say? What is your perception of what happened? Because your perception of what went down seems incredibly skewed. Like, to the point where it's not even reality at this point. Are you saying you can't Holocaust one person? Ah! Oh my god. Oh my god, why is she so keen on naming Veda in all of this? I'd be curious to know why she's so keen on that. That's another thing. Hey, here's the thing. Hey, Suzanne, you want to clear some of this shit up? Come onto the channel. We'll talk. I'm willing to have a conversation with Suzanne. I'm not willing to, like, I can't have a conversation with Aaron right now, obviously, for obvious reasons. Maybe once court is over. But for obvious reasons right now, she can't be going anywhere to have conversations. Same with Veda. Same with Steve. I'm not willing to bring on Katie's a Liar or Maya Nova or Black Wolf because they're Nazis. I'm not willing to bring on Renelle because she's a Nazi sympathizer. So none of that shit. Suzanne hasn't demonstrated any of that. I mean, maybe some misused words here and there, but Suzanne, I might be able to, like, all right, let's sort this shit out, right? Because she clearly has some kind of issue with some woman from Canada. And maybe we can sort that out like adults. We can have a conversation sorted out. Maybe we can figure out what trauma dumping means, and we can have a discussion about, like, there's some discussions that could probably be had here just to actually suss out what's gone on and what her part in it was, so that way she could make a real apology video. Help me to help you. I can help you with this. Take my hand. Come be a better person. Oh, boy.
Who I'm not going to name because I don't
Why?
feel it benefits them, or
You're protecting
and I don't
them.
feel any reason to harm them.
So you're protecting them. You're purposefully protecting people that actively did harm to Charla, whom you're apologizing to, but you're not going to name people who were harmful to her because you want to protect those people. Why? Why do you want to protect those people? What are you protecting them from? Also, by the way. That's very weird.
because some of them are still my friends. Well, anyway, one of these people I'd been talking about the situation.
Because they're my friends. I'm friends with people that I think treated somebody really poorly and did bad things to. I'm their friend, so I'm going to protect them from the consequences of them doing that thing. So who are you still friends with, Suzanne? Is it Steve? Is it Steve? And see, this is what I mean. When you don't name people and you're not direct and you bring up other shit that you want to throw around, it opens the door for people to speculate. And when it opens the door for people to speculate, it opens the door for bullshit. You're setting yourself up for failure, and you're setting up more bullshit to be thrown at Charla. You're enabling the problem. The problem you're supposed to be apologizing for.
Said,
oh my god, why do you have so many ads in your video? What the fuck?
that Miss S had trauma dumped on me. And at the time, because of the previous interactions with this person and that person who I was going through, I said, yeah, she trauma dumped on me. That person planted that idea in my mind and I just ran with it. I ran straight through the door. Well, recently.
So you're just blaming this other person that you didn't even name? That you're trying to protect? So you're trying to throw them under the bus without throwing them under the bus and leaving it specifically vague and open-ended on purpose and so people can speculate about who it was? What are you doing?
Due to some behavior by others, including a lot of Veda behavior, I decided I would go back and reread some conversations between Miss S and myself and some conversations I had with this other person. And after doing that, all I can say is I overreacted. I don't know if she was going to trauma dump or not. I had the impression that she was, but she didn't say or do anything that was actually trauma dumping. It was just me.
Wow, this is the part that should have been like 10 minutes ago. After 5 minutes of an actual apology. And like the rest of this video shouldn't fucking exist.
In my heightened awareness state, thinking that that was what was going to happen.
Excuses.
And this other person doing some exploiting of that or some
Blaming somebody else.
misunderstanding. Let's just put it that way, maybe. There's always miscommunications all over the world, all the time. I mean, all I have to do is look at the state of the world and see some of the things that are going on. And people tend to put their own spin on things. Everyone comes at it with their own biases.
Excuses
and I definitely
again.
had an anti-trauma dumping bias at that time. What do I mean by that?
You don't even know what trauma dumping is. You keep getting it wrong. So if you're using the term differently, define it. There's nothing wrong with having different words mean different things to different people. Sometimes that's fine. But if you have a version of what trauma dumping is that is different from what is generally colloquially used as, you need to define what you're talking about. Because you're all over the place with this.
Anti-trauma dumping bias is, an anti-bias is, example, this morning. I got this morning to the news that the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore had collapsed. Large portions of the bridge had collapsed. And I started reading through all of the news coverage of this. And I was very interested because I have family in Maryland. I may retire to Baltimore at this rate. I'm thinking seriously about it. A place with waterfront views, maybe.
What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? This is an apology video. Why the fuck are you talking about this goddamn bridge? I understand that you're trying to explain what an anti-bias is. It just means you have a bias against the thing. That's all it means. Like, it's just, an anti-bias it isn't real. It's you just have a bias towards the negative rather than towards the positive. Holy shit. Holy fuck. If I have a bias towards being overly defensive because I'm afraid of being hurt by a thing, so I get triggered by people saying a thing, and that triggers me into getting defensive and pulling away from that person, that's what you're talking about. It's not anti-trauma dumping bias. It is self-protection because you don't believe you have the spoons to deal with whatever trauma has happened because that trauma dumping is harming you and your mental well-being. That's what it is. The bridge is falling apart. Oh my god. You've missed nothing. You've missed nothing. You've missed Suzanne trying to throw shit at people in an apology video. That's what you've missed. Stop. If you need to script it, I know that scripting doesn't come off as earnest a lot of the time, but you're not coming off as earnestly sorry anyway, so you may as well just fucking script it. Alright? Maybe do a couple of takes. No, you're not sorry. You don't even know what you're apologizing for. You're blaming other people. The closest you've gone to being like, I'm sorry to Charla is, I'm sorry I assumed you were going to trauma dump. That's it. I thought you were going to. And I was emotionally in a bad place. And so, like, you're also guilt-tripping Charla? And then blaming other people. This isn't an apology. You're not sorry. I'm gonna speed this up for a minute. I'm gonna speed this up while she fucking talks about this. Maybe she doesn't fucking go.
And I've always loved Baltimore ever since the show Homicide Life on the Streets encouraged me to go start hanging around Baltimore and see what Baltimore was all about. It reminds me of South Louisiana. It reminds me of New Orleans, where all of my family's from. There's a lot of things in common. Both cities are very...
What does this have to do with your metaphor? Or your analogy? Or your comparison? What the fuck does...
Old Catholic cities. There's lots of history there. There's seaports. There's shipping galore and overseas shipping and all of that. Both places have some commonalities that I like. There are very few places in America you can go bar hopping and go from place. Well, guess what? You can do that in Baltimore. You can do that in New Orleans. You can't do it too many other places. So even though I don't drink, I've always enjoyed that vibe sometimes.
What do you mean? Did she say you can't? That you can't go bar hopping in a lot of places? You can go bar hopping in a lot of places.
Just go with my friends from place to place, smoking a cigar in some places if people got too close. Cigars are great.
Cigars are great. What?
For scaring off gnats if you're riding on a horse, gnats and flies, or if you're in a bar that's crowded and people get too close, you light up your stogie. It works every time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure encouraging people to smoke cigars or cigarettes or do or weed or anything, I'm pretty sure that's against YouTube's terms of service. So you might want to be cautious about that one. Do you know why that gets people away from you? Because people think it's gross? And because people think it smells bad. That's why. I mean, you could just fart and get the same effect. Okay. Alright. 10-1. 10-1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, Woosroba!
So I was watching this coverage this morning, and it was pretty obvious early on that it was not a terrorist attack. What it was a huge, heavy shipping vehicle, like boat with all these shipping containers on it. Like I got my stuff here, and I got my car here. They got stuck in a container and went on a big ship and came down here to Costa Rica. Stuff gets shipped all over the world. So there was a pilot in the channel in the ship They were trying to go under the Key Bridge, and their power conked out.
Recordings just got better.
How many ads, Suzanne? How much money do you need to farm off of this?
I'm not an expert in naval anything. Let me throw that out. But I've always had an interest in it and done a lot of reading. My father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather worked at Ingalls shipyard in New Orleans building ships back when New Orleans actually had a shipbuilding place. They don't anymore. Most of that stuff has gone overseas. So there we were with this ship, and it was pretty obvious what had happened. The ship lost power. No power means no rudder control. They weren't able to dodge the bridge. And they did a responsible thing. They called and said, hey, we've lost all power. We're taking off the bridge. It looks like. Mayday, mayday. And the police, the harbor police, Baltimore police, I don't know who all, got the bridge closed except for the people who were doing work on the bridge. Sadly, it looks like 6 of them may have lost their lives in the collision. I haven't looked lately the last couple hours because I've been in the kitchen making pudding, which is why I'm so sweaty and weird right now. And there is no instant pudding here, so I had to stand over the stove and stir that stupid thing forever. So there we go. So I'm watching this and saying, yeah, it's a tragic accident, but everybody acted in the best responsibility they had. And my husband is flipping through his news channels this morning, and I came on Fox News. A, trying to say it was terrorism, then trying to say B, it was migrants. 3, they started trotting out this story about infrastructure being all screwed up. And that was why the bridge failed. That was the catastrophic failure of the bridge. No! When you take this big heavy boat that cannot be turned, you smack it into the bridge support, the bridge falls. So they're failing America by using this narrative, this dumb-ass narrative that doesn't fit anything. That is what's...
Wow, you mean like a dumbass narrative like Charlotte reaching out to you to talk about her story when she's literally done that never? Like, she's not telling her story anywhere. You think that if she wanted to tell her story, she couldn't? You think that if Charlotte didn't want, like if Charlotte wanted to tell her IBLP story, there aren't other people besides your little group of fucktards that would be willing to hear her out? Channels that are bigger? Or channels that have more integrity? You think that she couldn't have put that out by now if she wanted to? Why do you all think you're so fucking special? I don't get it. You're not special. You're just a group of assholes harassing some woman. We're 19 minutes and 30 seconds into this 25-minute video. We have not heard I'm sorry, and we haven't heard what she's sorry for yet. She's talked about a tragedy, or a tragic accident with this bridge. She's talked about her trauma, her past. She's talked about her husband's illnesses. Oh, and she's been throwing shit at people, including Veda, Black Wolf, myself, and kind of like been implicating people without naming them. Narratives. Yeah. Oh, I guess she said that she knows that people did wrong things to Charlotte, but she's protecting them because they're her friends.
What's going on in the anti-Katie Joy community. There are equally stupid and fake narratives being spun by various people. So when I went back and I reread...
Such as... No, you need to be... This is part of the issue. This is part of the issue you're supposed to be apologizing for. So which things are narratives? Which things are bullshit? Why are you trying to pull a both sides things when you're trying to apologize to the person who was being wronged? Who's pushing what narratives? Fake narratives being spun by various people. That's meaningless. This is a valueless statement. Who's spinning narratives? What fake narratives are they spinning? Why are they fake? And why is this in your apology video? This should be a whole separate video. And listen, I get it. You want to go back to talking about the stuff you want to talk about, or like your art or your religious stuff, whatever. I get that. But you have sunk yourself so deep in this quagmire that if you want to get out of it, you're going to have to address things directly, and you're going to have to take the steps to get out. You don't just get to teleport yourself out. You're not Nightcrawler. You don't just get to bamf yourself out of the bullshit that you found yourself in. It doesn't work like that. Because you have a responsibility for what you put out. And you put out bullshit. So you need to be responsible for the bullshit. That's the whole point of apologizing, is taking ownership for the bullshit you put out. So if you want to accuse people of trauma dumping, you need to define it and explain how they're trauma dumping. Or if people are triggering your trauma about having a anti-bias to trauma dumping, then you need to explain how they did it, why, and what those triggers are, and why, and take responsibility for your triggers. That's a you problem. Does the Kansas court require that you go in May as well, or am I not caught up? I don't know yet. So far, not that I know of. Accountability, right? Yeah, right. Thank you. Accountability.
My correspondence with Miss S, followed much later by my correspondence with the person I was talking to this about.
What do you mean much later? See, this is another problem with this video. We don't have a very clear timeline of what happened. Charla reached out to you. You allegedly didn't answer. Somebody asked you to talk to Charla, so you talked to Charla, set up a date, and then didn't talk to her again. And then much later, somebody said that she trauma dumped on you, and then you went off. But what timeline are we talking about here? Because you brought up November. That's the only time that you've brought up, and November was well after all this shit had started. Oh, November is after all the TROs were going around. November is after the swatting incident. So when are you talking about?
In the anti-Katie Joy community, it was pretty clear to me that I had formed a confirmation bias against Miss S and had taken some of her actions towards me as the beginnings of trauma dumping, because I've gone to this dance too many times.
It's 20 minutes in. Maybe you should have started the video here.
But in actuality, she did no trauma dumping to me whatsoever. She may have been winding up to do it. I don't know. I can't say either way.
You're still trying to say that she might have been doing it? What are you doing? Why? Why would you say that? Why would you go out of your way to put that out there? You already said that you... How do you even know? What are you talking about? You're not going through it. You're not explaining it. You're saying that no, she didn't do this thing, but maybe she was going to, though. I'm sorry, but maybe she was going to. What are you doing? That's not an apology. I'm sorry for yelling at you, but I thought you were going to throw water in my face. And I don't know that you weren't going to throw water in my face. You might have if I didn't yell at you. But I'm sorry for yelling at you. Oh my God.
But I had the idea in the back of my mind because of everything I'd been through with everybody and their brother contacting me to trauma dump.
People weren't contacting you to trauma dump. You were writing articles about people's stories, and they contacted you to share the articles that you were writing for Pathos, which you were getting paid for because it was your job. Stop lying. That doesn't mean that wasn't burdensome on you. That it can be very burdensome to do that kind of a job. It doesn't devalue that would be difficult or emotionally draining. But stop fucking lying. Because at this point, it's just, this comes off as just a lie to me. We haven't gotten anywhere.
And this other person I was talking to who seized on it and ran with it, and I was, yeah. So,
and now you're you're blaming another person for your actions, and you're not even you don't even have the decency to name that person.
This morning I had a friend that gently reminded me, yes, you did say she trauma dumped on you.
Oh, do you need me to gently remind you about all the other shit you said? Because you brought up some random Canadian woman who had a falling out with Steve who used to stream with him. And I may have made a video where I told you very directly some of the things that you said that were inappropriate, like calling her the creature. But you're only apologizing for saying that she trauma dumped on you? That's the only apology you have to give? Not the streams that you were on. Not the descriptions of your videos of when you were talking about this shit. You're not sorry about any of that shit. Just this vague accusation about trauma dumping that you're saying that she might have done anyway, that she might have been intending to do. You're just throwing that caveat in there, so you're not... This isn't an apology, it's more accusations and it's accusations, obfuscation, deflection, and excuses. This is excuse heaven. We've died and we've arrived in a heaven full of every excuse you could possibly think of. Did your dog eat your script? Is that why this video is so bad? Did the dog eat it? Fuck's sakes.
And I was kind of astounded. I was like, I said that? So I had to go back and look and see what was said, what I said.
And then at the beginning of this video, you said you didn't remember, that if I'm remembering correctly, you said, I believe maybe.
Let me tell you something. That is not true. She didn't trauma dump on me. She doesn't know I'm making this apology, but I feel I need to because I'm one of those people that once somebody points out something
I'm such a nice guy
that I've done wrong, and I can see that I've done wrong, I apologize because...
Then why are you throwing shit at me instead of apologizing for calling Charla the creature? I don't believe you. Your behavior does not match your description of yourself.
I gotta get up in the mornings and look at this mug in the mirror, and that's not always the most fun thing to do if you have stuff in the back of your mind that you know is wrong. You know, it's just plain old vanilla wrong, and...
So how long ago did you realize? Because you said recently, but you have no proper timeline, so nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. So how long have you been sitting on this? Apparently enough times to wake up in the morning and feel uncomfortable with yourself. This isn't an apology, and quite frankly, I hope you still feel uncomfortable looking at yourself in the mirror, especially after this, because this is kind of fucking gross.
And what do? You apologize, even if you don't feel like it, even like you feel like you might be justified and you're...
Yes, she's not sorry. She's doing this to make herself feel better about herself. That's it. This is pure ego. This is pure, she's doing this for her and to present to other people like she's a good person. But everything she's saying is, I am the bad guy, it was me. But what she's saying is manipulative. What she's saying is deflection. What she's saying is obfuscation. What she's doing is making it worse for Charla. And it would make things worse for Charla because she's throwing around additional accusations, throwing around additional shit without being specific, which is going to cause things like this video that's gonna have to rehash all this shit again. The whole new sets of speculation about who said what to who in the background, because you're not being direct, you're not being specific, and none of it had a place in this video anyway. It's an apology video. All you needed to say was, hey, I did something wrong to Charla. I said that she trauma dumped on me. I recently reread my conversations with her, and she never did that. She never trauma dumped on me. I'm sorry I said that. I never should have said that, and I shouldn't have fed into the narrative that she was trauma dumping on people, because that is not something that happened to me, and I'm sorry for that. If there's anything I can do to make up for it, I will. And in the future, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that I don't do something like that again. That should have been the video. Not, this person said this to me in the background, not that person was whispering my ear, not this person later said this, not, oh, but I was feeling bad in November and I'm still feeling bad because I have so much life stuff going on. Poor me. I don't want to have to address any of this. I'm gonna delete this video after a week so I can pretend none of this happened.
Bias, you apologize because it's not your desire to hurt people, just like it's not your desire to put up with fake narratives. So, Miss S, I'm
What?
apologizing to you.
What fake narratives? What are you talking about? You're wrapping up extra shit, but not explaining it. This is such a bad video. This is all excuses and obfuscation.
To you right here, right people, just like it's not your desire to put up with fake narratives. So, Miss S, I'm apologizing to you right here, right now. I am so sorry that I went with a confirmation bias and I allowed others to double down and confirm that within me, which
That is blaming other people. That is not you taking responsibility. That is not you taking accountability. That is you blaming other people. Who is Miss S? The fact that you've gone this entire video without even naming the person you're supposed to be apologizing to is disturbing.
kept me believing that lie for a long time. And like I said, I'm truly sorry. I don't know what I could do to make it up to you.
Hey, I'm sorry. I am truly sorry. Comes out 22 minutes and 10 seconds into this 25-minute and 34-second video. Fucking wow. Have you considered taking this video and playing it in reverse? Maybe if you played this video in reverse, you would do a better job. This is assuming she doesn't immediately undermine the I'm sorry part directly after. So, I said sorry, look.
It's not my intention to harm you in any way, shape, or form. I just want everybody who's come out of the IBLP or not to feel better about themselves, to start to heal, to reach that place of healing.
Oh, fuck off. She was doing fine about IBLP shit. Your shit caused a whole bunch of other shit, you fucking clown. You turnip. That's fuck off with that. Fuck off with your holier-than-thou bullshit when you're not even addressing the fucking half the shit you did to this woman. Whether or not she was part of the IBLP and had additional trauma or not, you took that and you fucking ran with it. Your friends took that and you fucking ran with it. Fucking wow. I want people to get to this place of healing. That's why I'm protecting my friends from the consequences of their actions that they did to this woman. Do you think that maybe it undermines your apology to go on and say something like that, to reach a place of healing? Why are you making assumptions about her mental health? How do you know she wasn't already in a place of healing? How do you know that she wasn't already over the majority of her IBLP stuff? How do you know that, like, or do you know, or are you aware that maybe what you've done and what your friends have done have re-triggered her or have triggered new things because of these old things? These things happened to her, so now she has these triggers or has these stresses in her life. And although they are managed, you and your friends doing this to her have made these things not managed anymore. And so these things are dealt with, but this new stuff is triggering these things that are now, like, she has to live and deal with because of the IBLP or whatever. How do you know any of this? Didn't you say at the beginning you're not a psychologist and you don't know anything about this shit?
I can't really be part of that journey beyond my writings because
Who asked you to? Who asked you to join? Who asked you to be part of anything? Who asked you to be... Nobody. Nobody's asked you for shit.
I just don't have the emotional strength for it with what I'm dealing with.
And yet you had the emotional strength to call her a creature, to go on live streams and fucking talk shit about this woman for months. And be involved in this for months. You have the emotional strength for that. You have the emotional strength to call Veda out really passionately about art. You have the emotional strength to try and throw shit at Wolf and Veda and someone from Canada who had a falling out with Steve that used to stream with him. Whoever that could be.
Between my own health and my husband's. But I wish everybody happy healing. I know that's a pretty paltry and stupid thing to be saying at this late date.
Yes!
After I myself have done...
It's absolutely a paltry and stupid thing to be saying in your apology video. It undermines your apology.
Health of my husband's. But I wish everybody happy healing. I know that's a pretty paltry and stupid thing to be saying at this late date. After I myself have done wrong.
It's not about being late. It's about undermining what you're actually sorry for.
Paltry and stupid thing to be saying at this late date. After I myself have done wrong with this thing and run with this thing.
Uh-huh. And what wrong did you do? Besides, like, nothing else? No, you didn't do it, nothing? No?
I'm not doing that anymore. The anti-KJers, they're on their own. The professional...
You did it in this video. You did it in this video.
Ones like Veda that are whipping up the outrage and trying their darndest to
Veda hasn't been streaming about this for a while. It's been a while since Veda posted anything about any of this since court. She made like one community post. So why are you bringing up Veda? It's been like a month. Right? The hearing was in February 26th. This came out on the 26th. It's been a month. Why the fuck are you poking Veda? She hasn't been making content about this. Why are you instigating her to make more content about this? Because when you do that, she's gonna want to respond to you, and that's going to be about fucking Charla. You're instigating it. Stop! None of this needed to be in your apology. Oh my god. Helios, I want to die. Why?
Fight with others. It's silly and it's unbecoming. Once you reach about the age of 30, you shouldn't be doing these things. You should have more maturity. I should have had more maturity. I should have had more foresight and seen, and I always say this, but I don't always do it, which is when something happens, it's weird like this, it's always a good idea to back up and sit down for a while. It just is. If you back up and you sit down for a while, you let something play out. However...
No. If your friends are doing something wrong, and you sit back and you do nothing, and you let it play out, you're complicit. If you see something going on that is bullshit, and you're just like, well, I'm just gonna sit back and let it all play out, and then I'll say something afterwards, then you're complicit in what's happening while it is going on. Now, if you want to step back, look at what is take a moment to step back and look at what's happening to properly assess it, rather than getting caught up in stuff, that's different than I'm gonna step back and wait for it to play out. Those are different things. It's different to be like, I'm gonna step back and make sure that I can assess this properly. I'm gonna take a minute before I address whatever's going on. That's fine, but waiting for it to all play out? You're gonna watch your friends ostensibly internet lynch somebody and then come out at the end and be like, oh, well, I have no dirt on my hands. What? are you talking about? That's not how you do that. Wow. You know what complicit means. If you don't say no in this scenario, if you don't stand up for the person being bullied in this scenario, you're complicit in the bullying. If somebody says a racial slur around you, and you don't speak up about them using that racial slur, you're saying that it's okay to do that in your presence. So if your friends are bullying somebody, and you don't say anything about it, you are complicit and enabling them to do the thing you know is wrong. You're protecting them. You said so in this video. If you're still currently protecting them, you're actively doing a thing to allow the thing you believe is wrong to continue to happen. You believe that it is okay for them to do that thing. Waka waka! I'm glad somebody learned something from this. Typical religious mindset. It is very much like there's when you're part of when you how do I phrase this? When you're part of when you grow up with certain things instilled into you. So Jehovah's Witness go through this. I've seen it a few times with different YouTubers that are Jehovah's Witness. You get ingrained into you these habits. And you have to fight against those habits essentially forever. Right? You essentially have to deal with this stuff forever. And you have to check yourself before you wreck yourself. And so what she's trying to describe is checking yourself before you wreck. The thing I told her she should do, check herself before she wrecks herself. Take a minute, step back, make sure you know what you're talking about before you go to talk about it. Which is not step back and let it all play out and then come in like the hero nobody fucking asked for. You're not a better person for doing that. You're equally as much of an asshole. Yet, you're still, you've been shown to be wrong. You know you're wrong. You're doing this to make yourself feel better, but you're still gonna throw shade at some person in Canada who told you this thing that you're trying to describe. Hi, hello? Maybe if you addressed it directly, maybe it might help you. This is not a fucking apology.
Way it was supposed to before you open your mouth. I should have done that. I should have corrected.
Oh, so was it actually you the one who was running your mouth? Was that actually you? Were you just projecting that? Was that actually you running your mouth and starting shit? Interesting.
I should have corrected this person. Said, yeah, I'm not sure she did that. I was thinking she was leading up to it. I should have clarified that instead of automatically.
Oh, now it's just a misunderstanding that you should have clarified and thinking that she was leading up to that. So you're still blaming her. You're still blaming Charlotte. You're still saying that, she still did these things that made me think she was going to. And you do know that if you had said that, it would have still just put at, they would have still just ran with that. It would have changed nothing. It would have changed nothing.
Going to my confirmation bias. There you go. That's all. I'm sorry, but I'm going to leave this up for a week.
I'm sorry, but... And then just cuts off into a different thing. I'm sorry, but...
There you go. That's all. I'm sorry, but I'm going to leave this up for a week, and then I'm going to take it down. Why? I'm also going to go through and firebomb my channel. I just want to talk about recovery. Okay.
That is not taking responsibility. Just trying to being like, hey, I'm sorry, but all this other stuff. I'm gonna delete everything and pretend this never happened. But I'm still gonna protect the people that I'm friends with. Fuck you anyway. Yeah, she actually ended on "I'm sorry, but." This is why I said this video should be played in reverse. I'm sorry, but here's all this rest of the video. You already said that you're not a psychologist.
From religion. Recovery from toxic religion, not all religion. Look, it's Easter week. It's Holy Week. If you have something that you need to apologize for to someone else, take that opportunity and do it now. Don't wait. Don't wait.
Yeah, Suzanne, if you have something you should apologize for, you should fucking apologize for it. You certainly didn't do that here.
You'll feel better for it. I guarantee. And that's the reason I did this is A, it was the right thing to apologize.
You did this
B,
because it's Easter? That's why you did it? Because it's fucking Easter and you're like, it's a Holy Week. I should find something to be sorry for. So I'm just gonna make up a bunch of fucking bullshit. What? Oh, let me throw a grenade at the internet. Why the fuck not?
did this is A, it was the right thing to apologize. B, I gotta look at this ugly mug in the
And you're gonna have to keep looking at that ugly mug, apparently, because you didn't apologize. I'm sorry, but isn't an apology.
mirror every day. And there are very few people in this world that I can say that I absolutely.
It's also not the only thing you need to apologize to Charlotte for. By the way, you did say you were on that subreddit, right?
There are very few people in this world that I can say that I absolutely actively hate.
Who cares?
And Miss S is not on it. Neither is
Okay.
Vader or any of those other ones. I just don't want to participate in this crap any longer.
This is not how you do that. You threw shit at people in this video. You made accusations in this video. You fucking fucked around with the whole timeline. You actually encouraged Veda to be responding to you in this video. When you do shit like this, and like I said earlier, if you are stuck in this level of mud that you've got yourself in, you can't just fireball delete all your stuff and then think that nobody's gonna, like, any criticism that you get is gonna be unreasonable because you're like, I'm sorry, I'm stepping away from it, I deleted my stuff, what more do you want? Accountability, an actual apology that actually addresses the shit you did. That's what people would be looking for. All this does is encourage videos like this and people to speculate and for people that to make way less reasonable videos than the one I'm making right now. Have you learned nothing? What are you doing? This is ridiculous. This is absurd. This is not how that works. If you want to get out of this, you're gonna have to do like a 12-step program to be like, okay, listen, I fucked up here, this is what, here, listen, I'm sorry, this is what I'm sorry for. I'm gonna go through and kind of explain a couple of things in later videos to undig myself out of the hole that I'm in. When you dig a hole, you can't just teleport out of it. You have to get out of the hole, and it takes steps to do that. You can't just, like, I'm not in the hole anymore. The only way you can do that is by actually deleting your entire channel and just being like, I don't want to be part of this anymore, and delete your whole channel. Delete your channel, delete your Twitter. That's the only way to do it. You have to delete your entire presence. And if you still want to participate on the internet in other aspects and in other things, then you need to do so under a different name. That's the only way to do that, if that's what you're trying to do. But you don't want to do that, because this isn't about being sorry. This is about ego. This is about you being like, I want to talk about what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about people criticizing me and the bad thing that I did. Things, plural. This is excuses. This is bullshit. This is not an apology. if Katie Joy made this video, they'd all be fucking picking it apart, and they'd be a lot meaner than I'm being.
It's taken up way too much room in my mind. I got way too much going on to be doing this nonsense.
And how do you think Charla feels after what you and all your friends did? Taking up too much of space in her mind, taking up too much money and time. You know, all the stuff that you didn't actually address. And you only picked out, like, you cherry-picked out, like, this tiny little, well, I said she trauma-dumped on me, and she didn't really trauma-dump on me, but everybody else trauma-dumped on me, and this other person made me think I trauma-dumped on, and so then I said this thing, and I'm sorry, but...
I'm way too old.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Love you guys. I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. If you
You're welcome.
stop watching me, I can understand that because I truly suck today.
Wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. Cut ties with all the lies that you've been living in. And if you do not want to see me again, I would understand. I would understand. 0 out of 10, no ukulele. 0 out of 10, no ukulele and no apology. This is terrible. Never do this again. I'm glad that you're deleting it. Oh, brother. Are we done? I truly suck today. What are you talking about? Today is the day you're apologizing. This is the time that you should suck the least. It's in the past that you sucked. And you should stop sucking going forward. That's how that works. Why do you not understand how apologies are? Didn't you just say you're too old for this? Shouldn't you understand what an apology is? You're... Alright. She's done. She pauses. I like this shruggy face. Go back. Where is that? I suck today.
I can understand that because I truly suck today.
Because I truly suck today. Ha, tee. What the fuck? I'm sorry, but... Tee. Alright. I'm done. This is a bad video. This is a shitty YouTube apology video. Oh, brother. If you do not want to see me again. Like, do you not think that somebody... Oh, wait, before we cut out of here, you've undermined your entire apology with this right here. Suzanne, this is wrong. I've been contacted by this woman, Charla. I know firsthand what she is like. I'm afraid to say too much because she stalks comment sections and easily sues. I don't think you fully understand the horror she is putting creators through. And you hearted the comment. What the fuck? Your entire apology is worthless. What the fuck? Well, I've forgiven myself, so I guess everything that happened is fine. Who is this? They've been contacted. Who are you? Oh, of course. Who is this? What are you talking about? What the fuck? A 24.2k subscriber channel going over to Suzanne's... How many subscribers is there? 3k? 3.2k channel making claims about Charla. And you heart the fucking comment. I don't know who the fuck this person is. I've never even seen this person. Not that I know about. Not that I can remember. Oh! Good. Great. Wonderful. What the fuck? I